Time for us to go viral. So after news broke of Andrew Luck's retirement Saturday, things got a little awkward inside Lucas Oil Stadium. I don't know why I did it like that. As fans booed him off the field. Former Colt and current Jaguars long snapper Matt Overton got an idea when he saw this. He tweeted to any angry Colt season ticket holders who are seeking a refund, "I'd be more than happy to buy your season tickets off of you and donate them." Now, this had my partner Nick Wright all kinds of fired up this morning with Matt going crazy.
It's a nice sentiment, but I feel like Matt Overton might have bitten off a bit more than he can chew here because of the word any. He didn't say if a Colts season ticket holder. What do you think this Colt, he makes $900 grand this year. I looked it up. He's made $4 million in his NFL career. What the Colts season ticket, say $100 a ticket, 10 games, so you're at $1,000. If 300 people take him up on this, he's basically playing for free this year after taxes. Like, what? Matt Overton, maybe walk that one back just a bit. It's a nice sentiment, but I don't think he can follow through on it.
He said he was watching morning TV, and people say dumb stuff all the time.
Oh, yeah?
He said, no, people won't follow up on it. Like information, no, they won't follow through on it. So, no, he's not going to. Hey, you need to concentrate. You need to concentrate on Jacksonville.
And the long snapper's going to
be on the field. What about all those empty seats in Jacksonville?
And he's going to be on the field a lot. Long snapper in Jacksonville, that is a work-intensive position.
Stories to start your morning this morning. Julio Jones, as promised, is getting paid. The Falcons star receiver said he wouldn't hold out this season because team owner Arthur Blank promised they'd get a deal done, and now Blank is holding true to that, saying a deal with Julio will be done before week 1. See, how important is it for the Falcons to get this done?
Oh, they're going to get it done. I talked to Julio a few weeks ago at the Hall of Fame game, him and Matty Ice. They're ready for the season. Julio said, I'm patient. So it might not be before the first game, but him and Mr. Blank have worked out a little situation. But Mr. Blank got plenty of money. We'll run out of breath before Arthur Blank runs out of money.
Well, and this is the ideal player-owner relationship, where you have a player who the team went out and got. If you remember them, they traded a bunch to move all the way up into the top 5 to draft Julio. He's been paid early every time. He's outplayed his contract every time. And now that he has faith, it's going to get done. So
he's a huge draw in that region. Not only played his high school football close there, played his college football there at Alabama. Yep. And in Atlanta, it is SEC crazy about college football, even though they love their Falcons. So he's a big draw there for Mr. Blank.
All right, moving on. Washington left tackle Trent Williams remains a holdout and has asked to be traded. Head coach Jay Gruden very strongly doubts that Williams will actually be traded. Nick, how do you think this plays out?
There are a few teams across the NFL, maybe most notably the Houston Texans, that if they haven't called up and tried to pry him away, I don't know what they're doing. And I don't know what Washington is doing, being seemingly so obstreperous, if you will, about the refusal to trade. I couldn't think of another word. I apologize. Belligerent.
You could think of another word.
Okay, all right, I apologize. As soon as I said it, I wanted to pull it back. My point is this. Hold on a second. My point is, this isn't just about money. He thinks that he had a legitimate medical misdiagnosis.
Yes.
He's made a bunch of money. He's a proud man, and he's saying, I will not play for you. So I don't think he's going to lose this staring contest. Take what you can get for Trent Williams.
You'll be happy. Houston, I talked to my guy Peter King.
Oh, okay.
He told me last week, give me an update of all the teams he went to. Houston has called, but right now Washington is insisting on they're not going to trade him. Trent Williams is insisting, anyone who knows him, he's insisting I'm not playing for Washington in that franchise anymore because some of the things you talked about and some of the things in the past.
All right, moving on. The Cowboys' top cornerback Byron Jones was activated from the PUP list and is in line to play Week 1. Jones has not missed a single game throughout his 4 NFL seasons. See, how important is Byron Jones to the Cowboys' defense?
Oh, he's vitally important to what they're doing. We don't talk about him enough, but especially with their lack of depth on that defensive front, their pass coverage guys, they're going to have to be exceptional. Now, last year, he got off to a phenomenal start. First half of the season, he was playing at a Pro Bowl level. Leveled off a little bit, but definitely a Pro Bowl level player. And this is a guy looking for a contract extension long term. He's a much-needed piece to a very good defense they have in Dallas.
It's critical for them that he's out there, and it's critical for him for the reasons Chris mentioned. He had a year that I think shocked a lot of people last season. Even as a first-round pick, he was rated as by some services as the best corner in football. I don't think people saw that coming from him. And now, as this is his walk year, it's a huge season for him.
Yeah, they moved him from safety to cornerback. Chris Richards comes over from Seattle, gets the best out of that talent, and we saw that last year evidently in the games, and they believe he's only going to get better. His versatility in that secondary is needed.
All right, on to the Patriots now. They were dealt a blow to their offense yesterday. Center David Andrews might be done for this season because of blood clots. Andrews has been the Patriots starting center in their last 3 Super Bowl appearances. So, Chris, how big of a deal is this injury for Tom Brady in the Patriots offense, that center position?
It's a huge injury. For those who don't know David Andrews, we talk about him a lot on the show, and the reason why is because I talked to Dante Scarnecchia, the offensive line coach, and he always talked about how important this guy was. When the offensive line, it's not only step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat, the most unison that you need a unit to be in on the football field. It's like dancing, and you can't dance unless you know the rhythm of your partners. But with Tom Brady, it's been about continuity. In 215 of Brady's first 251 starts, the left tackle were Matt Light and then Nate Solder. And then here of late, last year they lost Nate Solder to the Giants as a free agent. Now they've had 3 straight where they have another left tackle. And now their best offensive lineman, David Andrews, they lose him. Outside of Gronk, he's been the most consistent offensive lineman for the last 5 years. We know they lost their left tackle, Trent Williams. Trent Brown had to let him go to the Raiders for that ginormous salary that he got there. He wasn't a natural left tackle. He's going to play right tackle there with the Raiders. But I am concerned about Tom Brady because I remember the first 12 games of the season last year and how Tom was timid in the pocket. And a lot of times, Tom gave up on the play earlier than I had seen him give up on a lot of plays, and that was because the questionable pass protection. But Dante Scarnecchia does not get enough credit there in New England. But whatever they're paying him, it won't be enough for the job he's got to do with that patch offensive line, because you don't get information like this on basically 7 days before we get ready to start the season and try to recover. He's a perennial Pro Bowler. Tom is comfortable with him. So now what does Tom do? Does he have to, 20 years, start calling the protections more because he doesn't have a lot of experience with the center? To me, the center is the quarterback of that offensive line, and the overall center skills are typically underrated because we normally only talk about the left tackle and his importance.
And when you talk about the first dozen or so games of the season, there was an element, and I say this with no intended disrespect for Tom Brady, but of chucking and ducking that we had not seen from Brady at any point in his career, where he was clearly making, and I think they were the right decisions, but what we would call business decisions, which is no, no, no. This first down is not worth potentially this hit I'm going to take. And by the way, pardon me, that's one of the huge reasons he's been able to play at this high of a level longer than anyone ever.
Absolutely.
It is smart. It is the right, for him, the absolute right thing to do. But we are now, to amplify Chris's point, in a position where Brady's going to have his 3rd different left tackle in 3 years. He is going to have potentially a different center who Chris has been saying for months. David Andrews has talked about on this show more than any show in America combined because of Chris's focus on that position. He's going to be without his best offensive lineman and his best blocker also from last year in Gronk.
Yes.
So you are your 3 most reliable blockers, Trent Brown, David Andrews, Rob Gronkowski, all gone. The Trent Brown one they anticipated, they knew was coming, but they're still going to be relying on Isaiah Wynn, who, while was a first-round pick a year ago, has never played an NFL snap because he popped his Achilles in preseason last year. Whomever they use at tight end is not going to be the blocker Gronk was.
Yes.
And whomever they use at center is not going to be nearly the player David Andrews is. And for a team that you said you believe, and I think the evidence points to, is going to try, even with the addition of Josh Gordon, transition more to a power running game, defensive-focused attack, you need your offensive line to be able to get that thing going for you. Brady might be able to deal with lack of protection because he's so smart he can see where it's coming. Your running backs cannot. And so this, to me, is a major offensive line health situation. It's the 2nd straight year, one of the best centers in football with a non-football issue. Travis Frederick last year with the autoimmune disorder, and now this year David Andrews with blood clots in your lungs, which is a terrifying situation.
And those 3 positions that you talked about that they're losing are probably 3 to implement the next man up mentality, that you can't just plug another guy in there just because the quarterback is at such a risk there. All right, moving